check, check. All right, that works there. Check, 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 check. All right, that works. All right, apologies for that. That was lame. Let's go. Check, check, check. Finally, jeez, Louise. Do not let your kids play with your work machines, ever. My son's all like, oh, hey, check it out. Look at this cool little Roblox thing. And I'm like, dude, no. Can y'all hear me now? Y'all should be able to. Let me just move this around a little bit. Y'all should be able to hear me. All right. Jeez Louise. All right. All right. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Microphone check. Can you hear me? All right. Oh, you know what I can do? I can just go here. I will just check it out myself. Microphone checker. One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. Okay, sounds good. Thanks. All right. Okay, so from the weekend watch list, what I was saying was I was working on my weekly watch list video. I moved my external hard drive and my laptop into my kitchen living room area so I could watch football. I got up to grab something, realized it wasn't plugged in, kicked my hard drive, it went flying, it got smashed. I lost all of my previous work. So, I mean, like the last year and a half worth of videos, live stream, graphics, everything, hard drive, it just failed. So I've got to rebuild. So the weekend watch this video maybe a little late today since I've got a bunch of other stuff to do. Because of that, I think it makes sense just to go through it this morning on the live stream since the market's closed. And people, if they want, they can go watch it here. And I'll just have to do another video next week. That's all there is to it. I'm not going to have time to rebuild it. It takes me three and a half hours over the weekend to get the production and everything taken care of. So it's kind of frustrating. Anyway, regardless, today's market's closed. The markets will be open. The futures markets will be open today at 5 Eastern. I believe that's correct. So we'll be able to get a good gauge for how Tuesday is going to go. I believe Tuesday we might get a real quick FOMO push and then settle out towards the end of the day and really start looking at the direction for the rest of the month. It is OPEX week, so monthly expirations are all expiring, typically pretty volatile. In the past, we've been down on those weeks. So since we were down the week before, I don't know if we're going to get a push into this week to be maybe flat or a little bit up. But overall, the market's going to start correcting. So I don't have... Sorry, let me just grab my futures chart so that when we go to look at that, I can give you a little bit better explanation of what I'm talking about. Okay. Let me get through the top 5 for this week, and then I will definitely take any requests that you all have for FlowTrade charts, as well as any other requests. We may go a little longer today because we don't have the market. We will see. My entire house, by the way, was sick this weekend. Not COVID, but just, the flu. And I actually had to call a mobile nurse to come deliver an IV bag to my wife. And yeah, it was weird. It was like, yo, nurse, can you come give this person an IV so that they don't die because of dehydration? It's weird. Living in Arizona, that's like a real thing. So, the top 5 stocks for this week, enough about me, is UPS. Let's do these in order, shall we? UPS, W, Twillo, Snow, and there's one other one called BILL, which is a biotech stock. So what you see in front of you here is the smart money, dark pool, and block trade algorithm software provided by FlowTrade. What it does is it's created its own algo called the Flow Index algo, and what the Flow Index algorithm does is it tracks large institutions, hedge funds, smart money brokers, purchases, just not purchases, but transactions, and creates the Flow Index algo. And that's this white line that you see here. Is white going to be cool, or do I need to change that to purple again? I think I might have to change it to purple. I used to have it as purple, and that worked out really well. People were able to see that really clearly. We might have to just stick with white. Let's see. And purple's a little harder to see than white. That's definitely for sure. Let's go ahead and change that back to white. Wish I could make it a little bit thicker, but I can't. So yeah, white will work. All right. What it does is it's created the Flow Index algo, and that algorithm tracks all transactions, smart money transactions, block trades, dark pools, all of that. Created its own little flow index, and the flow index. Typically what we look for is when the flow index is moving in one direction and price is moving in the opposite direction. That's what's called divergence. And the point at which that divergence occurs, price will always return to that because price will follow the algorithm. So if the algo is, or if the flow index is net buying like it is here in UPS and price action is selling off, large institutions are buying into a position as price is coming down. The reason they do that is because if they were retail and they got in, they tried to buy the dip, what would happen is that massive amount of orders would cause a temporary inflation in price. And once once that volume is realized that it's just a bunch of large transactions, it creates a vacuum which actually drags price down, so that when the price action finally settles down, what happens is these large institutions are in a position higher, right, or lower than what the price action actually is. So they actually hurt themselves by buying at the bottom. So what they're doing is, as price is coming down, they're buying into it, right? So that when support is finally met, right, they're in a good position here, and the flow index algo goes this way, and then they start selling out of the position as price action's rising. One, to keep a stable market. Two, so that they can get in and get out of positions without affecting things and become more profitable. So a lot of times what you'll see is price action coming down and the flow index rising, meaning that they're buying all of these bottoms. And then as price finally finds support and starts to retail comes in and they start buying into it again, you'll notice that the price will rally up to that point of divergence, and the flow index algo will start selling out of those positions, right? Our trades will not affect the market, so we could drop a $100,000 order at the low, and it's not going to really move price action. But when you start talking about millions and billions of dollars coming in, they definitely have to be a little bit more strategic. So we play that divergence, and for example, on UPS, there's some divergence that's occurred, way up here at 216, right? Prices, the algo is continuing to buy as they're coming down. Once we find support, price will start rallying back up to the point of divergence, right? And there's better examples. Actually, you know what? There's a good example right here. Let me show you. Okay, so let me just get my color set up. I like to color code my chart, and typically I'll use yellow to show support resistance. I'll use red for regular block trades. Blue will be dark pool block trades, and whenever you have I'm going to use white. No, here to check it out. So my main gripe with this new system was that I'm very color code driven, and I used to use white for white lines, right? Because white lines are fun. But no, what I mean is that when there's a regular and a dark pool level that print on top of each other, right? That's a major inflection point. You have to mark those up on your charts. And so I used to use white lines because they're fun. No, because it just shows that major inflection point. Well, with the new system, I wasn't able to be like, oh, I can use a white line. I figured out a little hack to get around it. What I would use is I would use the Fibonacci level and just not draw the Fibonacci. So I'd put a really thick white line on there. You'll see as we get into this what I'm talking about. It's pretty cool. So as a matter of fact, we're going to use one right here on UPS, right? See that? See where you can't see it, but there's a dark pool and a regular block trade that have printed right here on top of each other. Why? How can other people's charts show those up, but mine can't? That's frustrating. Let me try something else here. See, change the background up a little bit. I guess it's a little easier to see it now. Changed. Yeah, I just realized y'all can't see. Y'all can't see that purple, can you? Or that blue. Oh, lame. All right. Hold on. I guess that's a little better. You can see it a little bit better when we change that background just a little bit darker. So there's right here you can't see it, but there's a regular, which is red, and a dark pool block trade that have printed on top of each other, right? And so what I'll use is I'll use a white line across the screen to illustrate that that's a major inflection point. So finally, let me just finish up this little lesson on the flow index algo and how that works, okay? Here's a good example. Is it this one? UPS, divergence, okay. This is the example I want to speak of right here. So this is a good example. So you can see that the flow index through this period of time is buying into a falling stock, right? So we have divergence that occurs at this point here, okay? So what divergence is when the algo heads in one direction, price is heading in another direction, which is very easy to see. Which is really easy to see here because, let me just draw another line. You got the algorithm is heading in that direction. It's very clearly easy to see that price action is heading in this direction, and this is the level at which that divergence has occurred. As soon as price comes down and finds support, right, the algo is gonna pull price action back up to that point of divergence. So we knew that divergence occurred at 216.36. Price actually came all the way down to about 213.40 and returned right back up to where that divergence originally occurred at 216.46. Since at that point in time, the algorithm was still pulling price action up with it, price continued to rally until it met with the algorithm, consolidated, and then price decided it wanted to pull back. And the smart money was still, they're still buying into this consolidation chop here, so that divergence must again be played out at approximately, let's see, trading with price action comes up, right? The algo's down, price is down, up, down, up, down. So approximately this level here is where we begin to get another divergence where price is, or the algo is net buying and price is kind of falling off a cliff a little bit, right? Y'all can see those lines. They're really thin, but they're there. So prices came down to an area of support. We have a regular block trade here, right? There's a regular block trade there. There's a regular block trade here so there's a regular block at 205.50. There's a regular block at 211.24. Okay, y'all can see this a little bit. There's a dark pool and a regular block trade at 210.47 and 210.50. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a fib line right there, right? That's a major inflection point. So this system that is going to work for now, I'm really going to push to see if they can do something about making the lines thicker. Hopefully it's not too late. So what we're anticipating to have happen is we look at that point of divergence, right, which has occurred here. Oh. Can I get out of that? So I apologize. So that point of divergence occurred right at the 212 level, right here. And what we would expect price to do is rally back up to meet the algorithm, to meet where that divergence occurred. As long as the algorithm is continuing to move upwards, right, it should pull price up with it. Now, if the algo decides to sell off, price will still come up to play out those micro divergences. And since we have a regular block trade coming in at 205.60 or 206.50, that is going to be our support. Regular blocks are usually buy orders. Yeah, it's usually buy orders. You can't really say, you can find out if regular blocks are buy or sell orders. I don't typically go into that, but dark pools, you can't determine if they're buy or sell orders unless you're really looking at what happens to price action off of those levels. For example, on SPY, at the close of Friday, we had a block that came in after the close that was $3 higher than what price action was. We can assume that block is a buy order, so price will come up to meet and fill those orders, okay? All right, so with UPS, I know that was a really, really long rehashing of, the flow index algo. We've started to get some, Terry, I apologize, you know what's going on. You've been here forever, you know this. We're starting to get a lot of new people coming in, and I need to make sure that everybody kind of understands what I'm drawing. And yeah, so just know that I'll get your picks taken care of first as soon as I get through these last couple ones. Okay, so as far as price goes for whoa, what the heck, dude? Does it just auto draw the fib level from? Oh, I guess it's from where my cursor is when I hit the shortcut key. All right, so we've got a fib level here. So price is pulled back, it found support, and it's going to start retracing, right? We typically look for price to retrace to the 618 extension, and then that is a determination point of whether it's going to continue to move on or if it's going to reverse. So price is actually pulled back. We're going to start rallying back up to the 618 retracement, which is right in line with our regular and our dark pool level at 210.50. Right? It's really interesting how symmetrical things are. We will be looking to take profits at the 382 and the 50%, and the trade should be confirmed as long as we close above previous highs or above the 23% retracement. So the move would be up, pullback, take profit at 50, or take profit at 382. Confirmed direction on a close above 382, take profit at 50, take profit at 618, fill the gap. Divergence will be played out at approximately 212. When we start getting at this 618 above this, I believe we'll start getting to a little bit of resistance, profit taking, and it may be a little bit of chop going forward. Okay, that was UPS. I don't have, let me fire up Thinkorswim here real quick, and we'll look at UPS on some other charts, right? UPS coming in on, this is the daily, right? The daily ATR chart that I've created. And what we look at with this one is the 50, the 200, and then these squiggly lines are Keltner channel. They're Keltner channels. Each one is set at an additional 1 ATR. So the 21 EMA is typically known as the mean. Price likes to use that mean as a, kind of a safety net, right? Price will typically follow that 21 EMA. When we start getting away from the EMA, those are called standard EMA deviations, and price does not like to be 2 or 3 standard deviations away from the mean. It will find a way to move back to it. So like with UPS, this big rally from the 21 here, right, from the 21 EMA approximately here, it rallied to 1, 2, 3 ATRs away from the mean, right? The mean is moving up with it, and it decided it was going to come back to the mean and then kind of stabilize a little bit, right? So stable stock is falling right around the 21s, major areas of support and resistance. So since then, it's kind of chopped, or it's kind of moved between -2 ATR, and let's just call it -1 ATR, or -1 ATR and 1 ATR back and forth. All right, currently pulled back, closed below the 50 period simple moving average on Friday, below the 21 EMA. Radiant Fire is pulling back to a mid, and the squeeze, right, TTM squeeze is neutral, decreasing in a squeeze, a mid compression squeeze. So I'm a little concerned that we did close below the 50. Typically, we want to make sure stocks are healthy above the 50 period simple moving average. In this last move, it closed below the 50. It came down and touched the 200 and just bounced off of there. So what we'd like to see is maybe we find support at this level here. Maybe there's a bunch of previous orders, right? There is a demand zone that runs 203 to about 207. We'll look for a bounce off of there. If these current lows or these previous lows do not hold, look for maybe a quick wick down to the 200 for a reversal. Going into UPS on some of my other charts that I use here. This is the 4-hour Keltner channel top, or 4-hour Keltner channel chart. The 4-hour Radiant Fire is rotating around, getting ready to curl back up and issue some buy signals. The TTM squeeze is curling around, setting up that slingshot effect. As you can see, little slingshot effect here. When price released, we had a big move up. Price did pull back to the daily Keltner channel bottom. This is a major area of support, and we're looking for it to make a move back up through the 4-hour bottom, retest the 50, and then either backtest and use that and the 4-hour bottom as support for a move up to the 4-hour mid, which would also be the 34 EMA or the 21 EMA on the 4-hour chart, right, which is the daily mid, right? A little ping pong action, up, backtest, up, find support at the mids, and then make a move back up to the 4-hour and daily top. If we reject the 4-hour bottom going into the week, we can anticipate a pullback to the daily bottom. If we get through the daily bottom, we would pull back and retest the daily bottom as resistance for a continued move back down to this rising 200 SMA, right? You can see that here. So we would think that the 200 would continue to move in this general direction, and to the downside, we would use that as support, which would also be the weekly mid. So I'm looking at 202.50 area as support if we have a downside move. So look at the 200s, the 202 puts. If we get a rally and we get a quick rally up to 209, back test 208.50 for a continued move. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move up to the upside. And as far as UPS on some other charts here, this one, I believe, this is my Ichi cloud chart. 4 hour, we closed below the 200, right? So if we look at the daily, right? So we're thinking a daily move, continue to move down to the daily 200 SMA, which is also the kiss the top of the daily Ichimoku cloud. So I'm thinking an initial pullback for a longer move to the upside later in the week or over the next couple of weeks. Now, UPS does have earnings, and I lost everything yesterday when that died. Dang it. Dang it. UPS is setting up for an earnings move coming up on February 1st, so in a couple weeks, right? Typically, we'll see stocks rally into earnings, right? The last earnings, UPS massive blowout. Previous earnings, UPS massive failure, right? So if it's going in its cycles, right? Selling off, rally up, rally up, rally up. So one pullback and three, let's see. They beat there, they beat there, they beat there, but did they? So they beat on everything except for they were really overextended. So they pulled back, you know, a lot of profit taking previous highs. So we will be playing some earnings plays. So super interested in doing that. Gonna have a good time. How does the timing of divergence playing out work? I'm guessing it's a range. And on TF, what does TF mean? Not sure what TF is. So UPS, again, here's another good illustration of, let me show you what price action does with the Keltner channels and why I feel they're so important and why I always reference them. So I've got multiple Keltner channels here, right? Let me turn off the weekly and the monthly. We are trading within the monthly Keltner channel. That's why it's kind of range bound, right? So what price action will do is use it. The 4 hour is good for intraday trades. The daily is good for longer term swings, right? The daily is the higher time frame Keltner channels, the more support they are, support or resistance. So for example, starting back here in December, UPS pulled back to the 4 hour Keltner channel bottom, and then it goes kind of in a ping pong cycle, right? Rally to the mid, right? From the mid, it found support and went ahead and made its move up to the 4 hour top. Barely got through the 4 hour top because the daily top was there as well. It fought its way through the daily top, you know, and it's getting pretty exhausted at this point, right? So it consolidated, came back into the 4 hour top. Now, if it can't get back out of the 4 hour top, what's going to happen is it's going to back test the 4 hour top and it's going to move back to the mid, right? From the mid, it tested the top again, couldn't get through it, came back to the mid, down to the bottom, completed its cycle, mid, top, consolidation, top, mid, support, mid, top, resistance, 4 hour bottom, 4 hour bottom, 4 hour bottom, right? Do you understand? Kind of like a ping pong ball. It definitely goes in cycles the whole time. If we look at the daily Keltner channel, which is this purple one, it couldn't get through it. And every time it came back to the 4 hour bottom, which is usually the mid, see how those are really in sync, right? It's using that as support, right? Downturn, right? Held the daily Keltner channel bottom. Now it should cycle back up through the 4 hour mid up to the daily mid, 4 hour mid, to, you know, use that as support or resistance. If it goes through it, it's going to be support and on its way back up. Okay. Keltner channels are very easy ways to define time frame. Yes. And on time frame, yes, time frame. Keltner channels are very easy ways to find support and resistance and know that a stock will cycle in between those different time frame Keltner channels. Okay. All right. So I apologize. I'm going a little deeper into, you know, trading strategies than I normally would. I just think it's important, since we're not going to be rushed today, to just kind of explain a little bit more about the methodology behind why we do what we do and what we use. Okay, and if anybody knows Pine Script coder for TradingView, please reach out to me. I need this study put into tables on this side so I don't have to keep moving it. I haven't had time to research how to do it. Anyway, moving on, UPS, 30-minute time frame for on the daily bottom, trying to get back up. If it does get back up, fights its way back up through the 4-hour Kettler channel bottom that runs 207.39 to 208.59, right? That little $1 move there. MACD is curling around, Radiant Fire is getting ready to fire off, Slingshot Squeeze is getting ready to release. All of those things happen. We get a move up to the 4-hour bottom, and then the move from the 4-hour bottom would look like this, right? And then they either come back down or we move back up to the 4-hour top. If we reject, like I said, if we reject that, reject the 4-hour, then we've got this move here. This is actually, we're not going to get head faked, and we're going to come back down, back test, back down to here. So hopefully y'all see that. I'm going to go ahead and turn my weeklies and my monthlies back on so that we can see larger term frames, what's really going on, right? This is this giant range that UPS has been in is the monthly Kettler channel cloud that runs 209, 210.50 to 220.50. It's a $20 channel. It fell out of the bottom of that channel. It's trying to get back up in through it. It's using the daily as support. This weekly mid right here is a downside target at 202, right? Makes things a little easier to see now, and no, I can't show these studies. So how does timing of divergence playing out work? Okay, so divergence, there is no specific time frame on divergence. I've seen stocks that have had divergence that have taken months to play out. I'm trying to find one that shows that divergence playing out, and I can't remember the name of it. Hold on. There's an entire Discord channel set up specifically for this. All right, here's a good example of divergence. That's interesting, because that is way off. Oh, that was from last month. My bad. Oh, let me get this loaded up. All right, I'm getting Thinkorswim fired up so that we can look at some things as well. All right, so as far as plays go, UPS, I'm going to look at, I'm going to set an alert for above 208.50 for a move to 210, 212. I'm also going to set an alert for breaking to a 550, right, for this downside move, which I think we may get first. 205, 203, 202, right? 200 is the 200 at 200, right? And $202. So the 202, 200 puts. Also going to be looking at the $210, $212 calls. Yes, I understand that's a big range, but I need it to confirm direction first. That's for UPS. Hold on, I gotta write. I've learned if I don't write these notes down, then I will get stuck at the open and not know what to trade. I'll be like, because I'll look at 50 or 60 stocks this morning. All right, UPS, come on. So UPS, we need a break of 208.50 for longs to 210, 212. Break 205.50 for short to 202, 200. All right, that's UPS. And 1 second here. I just pulled up a whole new chart setup. You just get them organized, and we will use the crap out of these. Sweet. Nice. All right. For you Thinkorswim people, here is UPS using Thinkorswim. All right, whenever I use Thinkorswim, I always start with big time frames first. Big time frames. Looking at the monthly, right? Seeing what's going on with the monthly, right? Over the monthly, it's just kind of in range bound, right? It's trying to form this giant monthly bear or bull flag, right? We're trading in about 2 deviations away from the 0 line, which is what's regression? Yeah, it's a regression line. I gotta find a better word to explain this whole philosophy, because it's not going to make sense and it's really uber complicated to explain. So again, price action pulled back right to the daily channel bottom. You know, the thought is, does it move down to hold the Ichimoku cloud below this daily bottom before it finds a bounce? Also realized that I don't have, which is unfortunate, I didn't put any, oh, there you go, 200 SMA, 50 SMA information, right? So daily, does it pull back to this cloud at 203, right? 201.42 is support, or does it break that and come all the way back down to the 200? That's the move we're hoping to see. Let's look at it on the 4 hour. Right, 4 hour, it's been selling off. So 4 hour, it's been selling off. It came right back down to key level support. It's got to get, you know, it's got a fight to get back up. All right, it's not like, oh, it's got an easy, simple move, right? The path of least resistance is obviously going to be to the downside, back down to, right? This is the 4 hour regression line. It's also previous day VWAP. So I think we get a pullback to 200, right? 201, 201.50. Below 201.50, we come back down and test the 200s at 196. That's why I like the 202, 200 puts. And then to the upside, if we do get a little bit of a rally, we got to get above the 50, which is at 209. What did I say? The 210, 212s, right? So there's a move from 206, break previous resistance, 208, for a move up to, you know, this 210, 212 move, right? Path of least resistance, so, is to the downside. Looking at it on the old 2 hour chart, sold off. This is a reason why I think we get a rally, is because we came down, we found support, we started rallying into the close on Friday. We've got magnets as far as our point of control. We got a point of control move, right? That is, okay. Our point of control is way up here at 214, 215, right? And what I'll do is I will, at the beginning of every week, I'll come in and mark where this point of control is, and know that price will use that as a magnet. And if you don't know what point of control is, stay tuned. I will do a point of control study video for everyone to enjoy. And point of control is at 214.59. That's where price wants to get up. If you notice that 214.59 is also, I didn't save it, 210, 214 is previous, breaking out of previous highs. At 210.50 level is that white line magnet, right here, previous point of control. If you guys can see that 210.49, like it's dead nuts on. Come on, look at that. Look at this, 210.47, 210.50. Look at this right here, 210.49. Let's just go ahead, mark that level. Let me just modify this real quick. White line blocks. White line block trades. You guys ever heard that song, White Lines? I'm an 80s kid, so. Alright. Whoa, what the what? Come on. White line blocks. Alright, so I want to show you one other thing too. I know there's a lot of talk about support and resistance. There is, look at that. Oh, you don't get much more perfect than that, right? Daily time frame pullback right to the daily bottom, which is also trendline support. So looking for a bounce to pull up towards those regular and dark pool levels at 210.47, above that, right, which is the daily mid, which is 21 EMA, 211, 212 area. Point of controls come in at 214.50 for that move back up to previous highs. So that's the upside. If we break the support, we get a quick flush down to the daily Keltner channel bottom, 203.50. If we get into this cloud that runs 203, we play the cloud down to 198, right? 200 being psychological level. So break of rally, 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 or rally, pullback, rally. Lots of fun stuff. Okay, I spent an absorbent amount of time on UPS, but I hope everybody understands what they're going to be seeing as I start going through these next charts. Okay, sweet. Next one up on my list was W, and the reason I chose W is because look at this divergence, right? Price action is trading with the algorithm, trading with the algorithm, trading with the what? Nope. What happened here? What? That's a candle up, right? So up, down, up. Oh, what happened? Price started selling off. The algo continued to move up. So the algo is moving up. I don't have time to go through this with each single, right? Divergence occurred approximately at this dark pool level that comes in at 176.02. There's a dark pool level at 176.02. That's going to be our upside magnet. Divergence occurred approximately there. Prices came down and found support, and it's trying to make its move back up. We have dark pool support resistance at 171.10. So if we can use that as support, we make that move back up to this trading zone. And if the algo is continuing to pull up, we can look at possibly taking moves back to these previous highs, right, at 182. This is Wayfair. Okay, so let me just get this out of the way here. Okay, and from a Fib perspective, same kind of deal. We pulled back, we rallied through the 2-3, we're up to the 382. Now that 382 is a decision-making Keltner or decision-making Fib level if price decides it wants to use that reject that, it will pull back, and we can look at a downside move for Wayfair, and we would just target the bottom. We'd start looking at fib levels to the downside. If it uses the 382 as support, we can go to quick pop to the 50%, back test 618, back test all the way back up to the 100% retracement. Okay, Algo's buying, price action has support. It closed above the 382. We have a dark pull. Block trades coming in at 176.06 and previous high at 183. Let me write those numbers down real quick. 176 and 183. To the upside, if it rejects the 170, 171 level, right? There's some dark, we are at a dark pull level, 171.10. If it rejects that, we're going to pull back to this regular block trade at 167, and then finally a downside move to 163. All right, so that's up. And then when I said, what is it, 167, 163, 183 is all right. That is W. Moving on. Let's get the rest of these charts out of the way here. One thing that I really haven't gone into a lot lately is trading ticks. If you are a member of my Discord, you currently have free lifetime access to the trading ticks bots. Okay. If you're not part of the Discord yet, you might want to get in soon. Okay. Wayfair's been in a downtrend, right? Below the 50, below the 200. It's just a downtrending stock. Failed slingshot squeeze reversal. Failed radiating fire. I mean, it's heavy. This is the daily chart, bringing it down to the 4-hour. It is currently at pretty significant levels of support, right? Which is monthly bottom cloud starts at 156 to 120, right? Very rarely do stocks hit the monthly top or bottom. Okay, it is currently trading at the 4-hour bottom, weekly bottom or daily bottom, below the weekly bottom cloud. It's looking to move back up and reverse. Let me just see if I can give y'all a better look at this. So, high compression squeezes. It pulled back, did not tweezer bottom, but it's trying to, and it rallied back up to the 13. So, rejected the 4-hour top, back to the 4-hour mid, back to the 4-hour bottom, back up through the 4-hour into the daily cloud. Look for the rejection, slight pullback to test the 4-hour bottom as support, the daily bottom, cloud bottom as support, for a move back up to the 21 EMA on the 4-hour, which is also the 4-hour mid, and potentially a move up to the 4-hour top, which is a daily or weekly bottom. I know it's a mouthful. Sometimes it's easier if I just do one of these. That's the upside move, right? So look for a pullback and then a move back up. If that thesis is inaccurate, then I think we would get one of these kind of moves here, right? Fall through the daily and the 4-hour bottom, back test it to confirm that it can't get through it before it falls back, right? The 21 EMA is kind of getting flat, so it's leading me to believe that it may pull price action up with it. These levels are 176 is a 4-hour mid, well, 175.96, 176.50. There's a dark pool level right here, basically right there. That is a dark pool level. I'll make that blue. Right, we had a regular block trade at 167, which is hit a regular block right here at a previous low. So do you see the move? We back test and we rally through dark pool magnet. If we pull back, right, to regular block support, we break through it. We can no longer use that as support and resistance. It'll become resistance. We fall off. Okay. Wayfair on, definitely very heavy stock. Okay. So we're looking to catch the bottom, but it is very definitely downtrending, negatively stacked moving averages below the clouds, right? So we're looking for a rally back to the 50, right? So kind of one of these moves here, right? Not expecting a big, massive trend reversal or anything like that. We're playing the rally back to the mean. Okay, so going into Friday, I mean, this would have been the move if we caught the bottom, but it did come back up. It got through the daily bottom. It's working its way up to the daily mid, or the 4-hour mid. If it hits a 4-hour mid, we may get a pullback to test this daily counter channel bottom cloud as support before we make our move back up to this weekly 4-hour top at 183. So I'll definitely be targeting the one. I'd have to look if they have dollar increments. Look at 182, 183. If it's $5 increments, you want to target the 180, 185s on Wayfair. So it'd be 180, 185, or the 182, 184 calls to the downside, right? If we reject here and we actually make the move down, we'll look at the 170, 165, 160, 170, 165, 160 puts. Okay. And then this is Wayfair on the 10-minute chart, right? Definitely trying to uptrend again. It cleared the 50, right? So we do have we have positively stacked moving averages, 13, 21, 34, 50, right? POC is approximately this level, so 10-minute, 30-day. Point of control is at 196. Is that right? Yeah, hold on. It switches. I look at the 10-minute, 30-day. There you go. So there's 30 days worth of candles. Point of control is at 196. That's a pretty big move. We're just looking to get above the 200 on the 10-minute chart. Gives us a little bit more confirmation. 196 is incoming, right? We reject. If you wanted to go further out, I guess you could get the 190, 195s. Right? I totally forgot to see what is Wayfair trade per day. That's important to know. Wayfair moves about $10 a day, so I can definitely move back up to 195, 200, right? So 190s is the 21 EMA on the daily. 200 is the 34, right? So we're looking to retrace previous highs. And then the 50 comes in at 220, 250, right? $10 per day, 170, 180, 192. It's $30 move, 3 days. I mean, think about it. If it moves $10 a day, right? And if it has 3 bullish days, All right. So the stock moves $10 a day. If it has 3 bullish days, it would go from 171, 181, 191, 201. Right? Can it move back up to previous highs at 206? It could. But that means that there's no downtrending possibility. Earnings coming up on the 25th. Wayfair. Like I said, I think I'm pretty all right with those numbers. Let's look at the 180, 190, 200 vertical. I mean, there's lots of things we could do here. Okay. All right. Next up on the list was Twillo. I'm going to start moving through these a little bit quicker now that everybody understands what's going on. Twillo, we do have that divergence. So price is trading with the algorithm, trading. Oh, wait, what happened? Looks like price started going up. The algo started selling off. So I'm going to say divergence occurred approximately at this level here. Right? Which would be 230. Okay. We do confirm that the algo is making higher highs and higher lows, right? As can be seen here. It did break above previous resistance, so I believe it's going to start pulling price action up with it. We have a trading zone right here that we have to be a little bit of aware, a little aware of. 218, 223. Looks like there's a little $5 trading zone there that we can get stuck within. Possible inverted head and shoulders, so need a quick pullback for that rip to occur. Also got a little bit of trendline support there. We do have regular block trade. We have a regular block trade at 212.05. That should be our support. All right, if we were to throw fib levels on here, all right, so price rallying up to the 23. I don't really look at the 23. I look at the 382, the 50, and the 618. So a move back up to the 382 is a move to 220, followed by 223, followed by 226, and then finally 235. Right, so 50% retracement. We'll just look at 220. And then 225. And finally 235. Okay, that's the move to the upside, and that would be a rally up here. We can very easily reject the 382 at 220.55 and move back down, but like I said, there's a trading zone that runs 217 to 223, so if we can get above 217, I think we have a nice move to the upside. Twillo on the charts. All right, another downtrending stock, right? Earnings coming up on February 9th. So we're looking for that rally into earnings, right? Rally to the 21, 250, right? We are below the 50, we're below the 21. We're trading at negative 2 ATR. $15 move per day. We're looking for that stair step back up to 250, which is way above anything that I was looking at. So 250, those I might have to move my my target's a little different. 250 is up here. That is a 150% retracement or extension, so 243 might be a pretty decent. 235, 240. Where's 235? 235. Ooh, that's gonna be close. That's a previous low. 245. So 250 is 21.8 EMA. We're going to slingshot squeeze, getting ready to set up here. And like I said, it is downtrending. It could very easily fall down to 200 before it makes a move up to the upside. With Twillo, like I said, it can either make, right, it can bounce off of this 4-hour bottom, reject the daily bottom, and then make its move back down to the monthly bottom. Or it can move up from the 4-hour bottom to the daily, back test the mid, right? So 4-hour bottom, 4-hour mid, 4-hour top, getting through the daily Keltner channel, right? For a move up to 235. 250 is a 21 EMA. It's the top of the weekly Keltner channel cloud, so it's got to fight. Path of least resistance is to the downside, so if this 214, 216 level does not hold, right, then I think we look at a downside play, 204, 200. If it does hold, then we look at a move to 220, 225, 230, right, 235, 225, 230, which is that divergence, and then 235. Contrarian to the downside. 210, 205. Okay. Again, another downtrending stock. We're trying to fight our way back to VWAP point of control, rally back to the 50%. Like that's a pretty, this is a big move. I'm not trying to get to 250. I'm looking 235, 240. We'll have to look and see what those options contracts are priced at. Oh, we can do that real quick. Let's see. Twillo. These are dirt cheap. My lord. Massive open interest at 220. There's a 230 divergence. Definitely like those. If we wanted to give ourselves a little bit more time, right? Those 230s, pretty decent. There's earnings coming up. When is earnings? Earnings are February 9th. So looking at these, there's just not a lot of open interest in the stock anymore for some reason. Looks like they added some 50-cent increment strikes. Market makers are only expecting a $13 move this week. So 215, 228, 227.50s look pretty decent. 220s, 230s, you could do that vertical for about $2 to make 10 or make 8, right? They added some new $2.50 increments, so those should fill up. Like I said, to the downside, 210, 205, 200. Let's look at the 205, 200s to the downside. And then to the upside, the 225, 227s. All right, so that is Twillo. Moving on up. All right, I'm gonna burn through the rest of these pretty quickly. Snow. All right, Snow has made higher lows, right? A little bit of a W shape pattern here on Snow. If you're not sure what the W pattern is, I'm gonna use screenshot to mark up Snow because it's got some interesting stuff going on here. All right, Snowflake, get over here. I believe y'all can see that. All right, Snowflake. So price is rallying with it. We have divergence that occurs approximately here, right? Overhead resistance. I should probably change this to just making sure I pick a color y'all can see. Right, so we've got overhead resistance. We also have divergence. We're forming a Wu-Tang pattern reversal where price pulls back. It rallies up to resistance, right? It pulls back to support, and then it makes another move up to previous resistance. It makes that little W-shaped pattern. What we look to catch is that break above the number 2 spot, which is here, right? The number 2 spot for this explosive move to the upside. Okay, we do have regular and block trades that are printed on top of each other. So on Snow, there's a white line right here. And that's at the 307.50 level. That's our upside target. There's also a regular block trade right below it, coming in at, what is it, 306, right? So pretty clearly, easily defined divergence. We've got support coming in. Got a 1, 2, 3 reversal, Wu-Tang reversal. We have white line, which is regular and dark pool magnet at 307.50. 307.5 magnet. Right below that, there's a trading zone that runs basically here, right? There's a downside trading zone, so if it breaks below that, you can anticipate it moving down to the downside. All right, don't want to save that. So this is that same markup, just on the chart, right? Support, divergence. I believe divergence occurred right at this level because that's where price started moving up, right? Price started moving down. W-shaped reversal, 1, 2, 3. So a break of 291 for a move to 300, and then 307, 315, 300, 307, 315, 300, 307, 315. If we break trendline support, then we've got to look at 285, 280, 275. Okay. Final one I want to look at is this Fib Retracement from high to low. Right, price pulled back. It held the 2.3. It rallied up. It closed above the 382. So 50%. 618 are the next anticipated moves. If we close above the 618, which is at 300 or 299.50, then we get a magnet move up to 307, 315. What did I say? 299.5 is 0.618 retrace. Okay. Let's look at snow on the charts. All right, so pullback, it held the 200, wicked through it, closed above it, quick rally, barely closed above the 200 on Friday, right? Failed slingshot reversal. Snow's got earnings coming up in March, moves about $21 a day, right? Pullback, held the 200, closed below it. This is a 4-hour chart, right? So it's fighting to get back up above the 200. So move from the 4-hour bottom, weekly bottom, to through the daily cloud to the 4-hour mid, which is 298.50. I'm going to use the 299.50, 618 as a better guide. So move to 299.50. Above that, we get a move to the 4-hour top at 310, 315, right? Above 315, weekly or daily mid, 325, weekly 337, and finally a rally up to the daily top at 350. Okay, it still moves about $21 a day. Definitely we can expand our targets out, so 320, 340, 350, right? Or we can play it real close and pay a little bit more for the options contract. Nice little support at the 200 SMA. Got a previous supply zone up here. 320 is initial target, so 320, 335, 350. So for longer term swings, that's 320, 335, 350 swing targets. 15, 15, 15. Oh, there's a perfect butterfly. They're trying to pin it at 335. It may move 335 this week. Let's look at these options contracts, shall we? Twillo is going to be a great bounce play. All right, there's snow. All right, what did I say to the upside? All right, this is a little better. All right. 297. What? 290. Let's get over here. 350. Okay, so swing targets are that 320, 335, 350. Oh, man. All right, they're factoring in about an $18 move. Let's just call it 290, 305. $307.50 right here. I like this strike. That's our magnet, right? 300 is the 618 retracement. There's a massive open interest there. You could do the 300, 305 vertical for about $1.40 to make 3. That would be a solid play. I'm going to look at... Sorry, I'm just looking at these deltas. 310 is pretty much as far as I'm willing to go. Maybe 315. I'd much rather get the 310s. So 307.5 or 310 for this week. Looking to the downside. About the same levels of open interest. 285, 280, 275s. So 285s, 280, 275s. Those 275s are probably the best looking put. $270, 275s. You can get those for about $1 to make 4 if we do get a pullback. So let's look at the 275, 270. Or the 255, 250. If we do the 255, 250 puts, I only want to target like, 35%. And the reason that is because they're so far out of the money. But if the market decides it wants to have a massive downturn, then Snow is definitely poised. Like we're trying to play a double bottom, possible inverted head and shoulders, right? Boom, 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 just a real quick pop, right? If it does reject, like I said, it rejects the 310 level, then we can look for a downside move. Like Snow is not bullish by any means, right? We're looking for a rally to the mean. I just saw this crossover. I need to look at one more thing. Pulled back, rallied up, pulled back. Rallied up, held the daily bottom, kind of a doji. It's either going to move back up or it's going to continue to fade. Let me check it out on 4-hour top, mid, daily 4-hour bottom. It's fighting for its life. Like the clean move would be above 300 to 310, 320. There's going to be a fight this way. If it gets down below 287, it's 275s are come right into play, and potentially down to 250s. Okay. All right, and then finally BILL. BILL is a biotech play. I've never traded the stock before, but if we can look at the divergence, so follow along. Divergence played out. The divergence that occurred here, right? Price came down. It played out here, right? Price is trading with the algorithm up to about this point here, right? Where we get a pullback in price, the algo is continuing to move up. So first of all, find my divergence area. We're just going to say divergence occurred here, right? Divergence occurred there, so we're looking for a quick move from 180 to about 190. We have longer term dark pools at 200, 212. It's interesting that there's a perfect trading range there as well. So that means it does respect trading zones, and it's currently entering a trading zone from 180 to 190, then from 190 to 201, and then 201 to 210. I've never traded BILL before, but another one, it's downtrending. Look, we're trying to catch a bottom, maybe a potential reversal rally into earnings on the 3rd. 1, 2, 3, maybe reversal. 223 is a 21 EMA. $220. It's got a $22 ATR. Holy cow, that thing is massive. 180, 200, 220. 2 days for it to move back up to the 20 or to the 50, 21 EMA. All right, so this one has probably got a little, well, this monthly mid is going to be pretty significant support at 170. So we're looking for a move back up into the 4-hour, 4-hour mid, 4-hour top, daily. It's going to get a little bit of a move here. On the upper end, 225. Definitely 210. So 210, 225 calls. And then a downside, if we can't get back up above, 185, I would look at the 170. It's got a big old, it's gonna fall off a cliff here. A little concerned it couldn't get back up to that 200, so big downside move. 103. Geez, 129 is probably better. All right, so if it breaks 170, then it's all over but the crying. 170 break for complete failure. So unlike snow, where it's holding to 200, like we broke the 200, the next trading zone is down here at 150. But you see this little doji reversal candle? That's why I'm looking for a rally back up to point of control. VWAP, so 200, or excuse me. 223. Let's go 225. That's 225 calls. If it does break down, we've got we're way over here. All right, so there's a little micro demand zone right here that we are in. So demand zone bounce, rally back up to the 20 or to the 200 SMA at 225. If we break this, then we can continue to come down. Okay. All right, 225 demand zone support. Below 170, 150. All right. And then finally, the options contracts for BILL. Hopefully they're liquid. I didn't even get a chance to look at them. Man, they're not super liquid at all. What did I say, 225? Dude, $15 ATR, 90% implied volatility, 280 for new 95s. $240's got the most open interest. Those 200s. $195s would be safer. Safer, but not a lot of. If we look to the downside, $170s. If that 170 breaks, $165 is as low as I would go on these. Okay. All right, so what I like about Bill is, all right, starting to get a little bit of compression squeeze here. Looks like we're trying to retrace back up to previous highs. All right, we're trading at -3 ATR. We're trading way away from its mean. It's got earnings coming up. Looking to catch that rally into earnings. Beginning to get some light blue histograms, right? Pretty decent move. Right. This is the 30-minute or the 30-minute time frame. Nice little pullback to support here, right? So if it rejects the 21, we look for the downside move. If it can break up above it, we look for a move to previous day's lows. 190, fight through the cloud. 210, 225s. I like the 195 calls, right? We're definitely gonna see if we can catch the bottom and rip this one. All right. Now is the time where I take your requests and I go through them pretty quickly. We're gonna look at them from a algorithm perspective. Terry was here first, so we're gonna look at Tesla. All right, so Tesla trading with price action, trading with price action. All right, the algo is basically trading with price action. As you can see, there's a bunch of blocks. Price came down, found support at regular block trade 1020 up to white line level 1050. Got another white line level up here at 1108. That's going to be your upside target. The algo made a little double bottom and it's trying to fight its way back up. So as long as the algo can continue to make higher highs and higher lows, Tesla can take out some of these previous block trades. So 1072, 1080, 1092, 1108, 1109, right? Let me just it's kind of important that y'all see what this one does. Right, trying to make its way back up. It's got white line here. Got a white line there. Got a white line there, right? So those white lines are major key areas of inflection, right? You can see the dark pulls on the way up. You can see the regular blocks on, the regular block at support. Okay, if we take a fib from here to here, from high to low, we rallied to the 2-3. We're fighting in it. We're trying to get back up above the, we pulled back to the, we're right at the 318. We're trying to get back up in the 50, 618, back up to 0. If we reject the 50, we can bounce off of this trend line support one more time, right? And then make a move up. If we break this dark pool cluster that runs 1025 to 1030, then we come back down and we test 1020 and then 1013, finally back down to 981. I think the upside move on Tesla is a way more, the better possibility, considering we have dark pool magnets here, 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 right? We have a dark pool right at where we're at now. So I think that's a pretty good looking move. Definitely be interested to see what happens with the algo if it can continue to make higher highs and higher lows. Okay, that was Tesla, SPY, SPY Dizzle. All right, so SPY's got, let me just get rid of some of these. SPY has got that block trade that I wanted to showcase everybody. All right, this one here. Okay. On SPY, the algo is trading with price action. All this divergence stuff has been played out. There's a block trade right here. Came in on 113 at 1634 Eastern Standard Time, right? Which is 4 o'clock at 471.04. This green bar right here, this one that you see right here is January 13th at 1400, 1500, right? And then it doesn't show past 1530. So here is the approximate time, right? This is the approximate time that this dark pool block trade came in. Okay. So what's it? And then it looks like this one came in at 1600 for 467, right? Price is pulling back as these block trades are coming in, right? You got a block trade here that came in. I can't really see that level. Dang it. So you want to talk about magnets? Let's look at this sucker. So SPY. That is where this is the time that this block trade occurred right here. Okay. If I remember correctly, this is also the time that this block trade occurred. Right here. Okay, so what I'm saying is as price is coming down, these dark pool levels right here, right? These guys are being, you know, these orders came in. Well, there's some orders sitting up here, right? Well, what does price want to do? You know, price wants to eat orders, so it's going to magnet up to fill these orders. If these are sell orders, right, then, you know, we may take a little more of a downturn, but they've been selling into rallying price, right? So this divergence right here, this is a good example of divergence trading out, right? Where you've got price action selling off, or, you know, price increasing, the algo is selling off, price will always come down to meet the algorithm, right? So that divergence is traded out. It's a good example of it. If you were sold a put here knowing that price is coming back down to this level, you would have made some money. So the algo is trading with price right now, and I believe it's going to come up here and attack these two dark pool levels that came in at the close, right? Came in after the close. So those are the upside targets on SPY. Okay, I think we get a nice rally this week into SPY. I don't think we take out previous highs, but we definitely go up and fill those orders, and then we either pull back or we move back up to the 478s and then move back down, right? So that's SPY. I found that was super interesting. And then QQQ. Same kind of deal. actually the same deal. We have a dark pull level up here at 387 that hasn't been filled yet. The only difference with QQQ is that divergence is played out. We have freshly formed bearish divergence, right, with the algorithm. So does that, does the algo, does price pull back to like this area here, right? That divergence plays out, and then, right, and then the algo bounces off a previous support and makes this move back up. But there's definitely a block up here that has to be filled that hasn't been filled yet. So 387.83. Lots of regular or dark pull support. I think we might get a pullback. I don't think we make a new low, but I think we pull back, create the inverted head and shoulders, then make the move up to fill this order. Okay. Need this algo to curl around because right now it's very bearish. I'm expecting a pullback. A little concerned. Looking at trend lines go. So 1, 2, 3, rally up, Wu-Tang reversal. More than likely it will fail and reject and come back down. All right, let me get this a little clearer. So it's actually a 1, 2, 3. Right, we close above the 3, then we get long. Doji candle, I think we get a little bit of a pullback. 2, 3, filled breakout. Or this is the beginning of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move, because it does look like it's creating an Elliott wave move right now. Okay. All right. D-Dog, Johnny, good morning. All right, divergence. The algo is essentially trading with price action right now. These micro divergences have traded out. A little cup and handle forming. 150, 160 channel, which means that there's a channel that we're trading in right now. We're at the top of that channel. The next one runs above this dark pull level at 130. Let's just call it 140. We'll make a move 140, 145. Sorry, 144. And then 146 to 150. All right, so we did break trendline support. We're trying to move back up. The algo is kinda just trading with price action. So I'd be a player when we get back above 140 on D-Dog. We could very easily reject this 140 level. The algo could reject it and move back down. I'm not seeing anything that's like, let's see, divergence there's played out. Divergence here. Since the algo came down below the point at which divergence occurred, then I would say this divergence is traded out to up, down, up. Yeah, all the divergence is traded out on the Algo and DDOG. So if we can break up above previous, right, there's this zone right here. And there's a little trading zone right there that runs 140 to 145, and then, or maybe even 140, 150. I don't know what kind of ATR DDOG has on it. $12. Yeah, that sounds about right. So we're getting into the zone that trades this one right here, right? Trade this zone right there. Okay. VTIP. See this little barcode looking candles? And it's only moving a penny. While there is divergence, there's just not enough price action for me to really be comfortable, or for the algo to be completely accurate. So trading with price action, divergence occurred approximately at 51.18 is the price at which divergence occurred. Right, that's the level in which the algo went that direction and price went in this direction. So 10-cent divergence on VTIP, and then ARTC not available. That one's not available. Okay. Amazon. All right, Amazon, Algo, trading with price, rally up. I mean, it's got some barely brand new form divergence. I wouldn't even call this divergence. This is just trading with price action. This is a good example of the Wu-Tang pattern reversal. 1, 2, 3, break above the 2 line, go long. Dark pool level at 32.19, regular block trade level at 32.24. That's your support if we do get a pullback. If that breaks, then I would anticipate maybe a larger move to the downside. I want to see this algo curl up and take out its previous highs right here. If it can do that, I think price has got a pretty decent move coming up, right? There's a little bit of overhead resistance up here that it's going to target. It's currently trading in a trading range that runs basically basically 32.40 to 32.80, right? Not a lot of block trades in the last 4 days on Amazon. So if we reject the zone that we're trying to fight into, then look at a pullback on Amazon. If it can get back up into that zone, look at 32.80 possible target, 3,300 obviously magnet. Okay. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for joining me. You want to look at BBIG? You think BBIG is going to explode tomorrow? I think BBIG is going to fall off a cliff. Right? Divergence occurred at 350. Right? Smart money took profits. Right? They're selling as price is going up. Right? They're selling out of their positions. That's all these block trades right here. Right? These are sell orders. People aren't buying this. The FOMO is real. I get it. Smart money has already taken their profits, right? They were trading with it, trading with it, trading with it. Explosive growth, right? I'm probably going to short this. So divergence occurred at 342, right? So that's my downside target is 340. And then ARCT All right, ARCT. We had some divergence occur. Let's see. Right, where price is heading down. The Algo is buying, steady buying. Right. We're starting to fill out that divergence, right? So move up to 3450, 36. Right. There's a little bit of a trading zone that runs here to here. All right, so we can get up into that zone, use it as support. The Algo is currently consolidating, right? A little choppy Algo. It's not making higher highs or higher lows. It's kind of range bound. If it can start making higher highs and higher lows, then yeah, I think that we could go long on it. There's no block trades in the last 4 days, the last 7 days. No block trades in the last 30 days. This is pure price action move, right? I mean, it did break its overhead resistance barely. Back test for continued move to the upside. All right, I'm gonna do Caesar and then I gotta run. I've been going for about 2 hours now. I need to get some water. All right, Caesar. All right, so the Algo is just trading with price action. It's trying to break out of its overhead resistance, right? It's got some, right? The Algo breaks above that. We got a dark pull magnet at 87.95 and 92.38. Price action is just getting back up into the bottom of a demand zone, right? It's going to have to trade its way up and out of. So 84.15, 84.76, look for some rejection there. If we can get it to close above that, the Algo is pulling price action up with it. So if we can close above 84.76, then I think we get a nice move to 86, 86, 88, right? Above 88, quick pop to 90. Contrarian, if we reject, the Algo rejects its overhead resistance here, and price can't get back up above 85, that's 85 for safety, then I think we need to look at a longer term move to the downside. I can't see it with this chart, but I bet you there is I know this is kind of a very ugly megaphone-ish pattern. Right, big old megaphone pattern. The Algo needs to break above its resistance. Oh, I just blew everything up there. All right, it needs to get up and out and continue to move to the upside. Okay. All right. One of my favorite short trades for this week. Roblox, if it breaks this level, this is pre-market high, right? 74, or excuse me, this is IPO high 74.88, I think, something like that. If Roblox can't retake its newly formed 200 at 86, then I think it continues to move down to 70. So 75, 70. It's got earnings in a couple weeks, but this is a pretty nasty move down on Roblox, right? It moved all the way down to 76, 74.50, or sorry, yeah, 74.50. Below 74.50, it gets pretty ugly down to about 70.50. So it's definitely downtrending. Roblox moves $8 a day. It has to get back up above 86.50 for a reversal or a rally to the 21 at 94. If it rejects its 200 again, then we see the big old pullback. So below 77.30, move down to 70 on Roblox. Okay. All right, that's it. I got to run. Thanks for joining me on Dark Pool Algo. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, go ahead and turn on notifications, share this with your friends, families, coworkers, everyone that you think would enjoy this. I will work on getting a video out, but basically this live stream was the video, so go back and watch it if you need anything. Have a great day, stay safe, stay green, and I will see you.